Bitcoin's been the shining light over the Iran conflict. I mean, stocks are down. You see bonds going down. You see gold going down. Bitcoin has been flat to slightly up. And I don't know if you can take a victory lap in the sense of over the last year, it's been the opposite. Bitcoin's been down and those assets have been up. But I do think that people are saying to themselves, well, I thought that Bitcoin was supposed to just be kind of beta to the rest of these risk assets. And so if everything else is selling off, why is Bitcoin not selling off? And so I do think that there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Bitcoin investors who have been taking a couple of beatings.
Do you think this was just a Bitcoin winter and we're now in some kind of pseudo summer?
I think that volatility has significantly compressed in Bitcoin. It was, an 80, 90 vol asset. Now it's like a 40 vol asset. It drew down 50%. That's kind of what you would expect in that kind of volatility environment. And I think that there's just a lot of people who hold Bitcoin who say, look, I like it at $60,000+, and the geopolitical uncertainty and chaos actually makes me want to own more Bitcoin rather than less because this thing is neutral and isn't subject to any one country.
Is it happening from individuals, or do you think it's through ETFs, or what do you think is happening?
I think it's a little bit of everything, right? One of the things that people have long talked about with Bitcoin is how do we get mass adoption? That was the phrase everyone used. And this is what mass adoption looks like, is you have individuals, you have companies, you have ETFs, you have countries.
But does that mean that the price discovery suggests that this is not on its way to the moon?
Well, I think
meaning you maybe arguably has been more stable than some of these other things you're describing. But at the same time, we've had Cathie Wood and so many other people, by the way, including yourself, I think, who've talked about, I was thinking about
higher prices.
Tom Lee talked about, $500,000, $1 million of Bitcoin. And we obviously have.
Yeah, I think if you look at gold as a good example, people used to talk about $5,000 gold price, and it was at $1,800, and everyone kind of thought it sounded crazy, right? It will get there. I think Bitcoin is a very similar thing. What the time frame is very, very hard to nail down. But what I will say is just look at the compound annual growth rate. If the stock market compounds at 8 to 10% a year, Bitcoin should do something that is multiples of that.
But are you seeing the corporates? I mean, there was a whole argument that corporate sovereigns, the sort of big institutional money, was going to end up in Bitcoin. And we talked about that almost endlessly around this table about a year ago. And that was what was going to drive the price. And that doesn't appear to be happening.
There's two things that have happened. One is I think that there are a lot of countries who are saying, hey, how do I participate in this without explicitly going and buying Bitcoin itself? And so you see them doing things like JVs on the mining side and stuff like that, especially the Gulf countries. But also you've seen a number of disclosures where countries' sovereign wealth funds have gone and taken positions in the ETF. And so I don't think it's, kind of this chaotic, enthusiastic, hand over fist buying of Bitcoin that people thought they were going to do in their central bank. But I do think that there has been, allocations that we didn't have just 2 years ago. And that, it's kind of like a slowly and then all of a sudden. And I think that's probably what we'll see here.
Okay, talking about slowly and all of a sudden, let's talk about what agentic insights mean.
So for the last decade, I've been coming on here, pounding the table about Bitcoin. It's been one of the best performing assets. I'm coming back to pound the table and tell people that there's a supersonic tsunami of artificial intelligence that is coming to finance. And I think that people are drastically underestimating how quickly things are going to be built, how pervasive the impact on jobs are going to be. And we want to be a pioneer of doing that. We've got a public company that we see as an agentic finance firm. The first product we have is a consumer finance product that basically allows anyone to upload all of your financial accounts, and you can start talking to an LLM with personalized insights for you. We now are taking a step forward. Today, we're launching an agentic research offering. And what that basically means is we are using AI to not only go and do the research, right? AI is very good at sorting through all this data to find hidden insights in financial markets, but the AI is actually creating the reports and going and actually getting it published as well. And so if you think about this, we could publish hundreds of research reports per day. Right. We have one human who's overseeing this entire AI system. And I think that people are drastically underestimating how smart the AI is, but also we can just produce this stuff now cheaper and faster than the humans can at other research shops.
My question to you is, and I don't disagree with you, I think some of the stuff's remarkable. The question is whether the insights become commoditized. Meaning if you're using Claude and I'm using Claude,
yep,
whether whatever product you're selling, I should be buying, because the truth is I could potentially recreate what you've done unless you are some kind of ninja prompter that's doing something else.
I think there's two things that are important. So first is on our consumer finance product, we've built a lot of proprietary AI agents. We've started to train our own models and do a number of things that are very proprietary and specific for that use case. We'll start doing the same thing on the research side. The second piece of this, though, is there's no monopoly on good ideas. And so no different than a researcher who sits around a table and says, hey, I wonder if the correlation between where the CEO went to school and the stock market performance, let me go do that research, right? You still have to come up with what these things are. And so what we think is really interesting is actually having the AI go and try to figure that out and try to understand where are the things that are most interesting, where are the kind of the hidden insights. And if you go and you look, some of the research that we published this morning at procapinsights.com, you can go and see there's things that no one's talking about yet. For example, what are the 3 companies that are supposed to benefit from both the Iran oil shock and the tariff refunds? Right? Now you start to get into this complexity where instead of taking a single narrative, you start to actually try to stack these things on top of each other and look for overlaps. That's just one example of where AI is really, really good.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space, and drop your comments and observations in the comment section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.